Welcome to this explainer. Today we're breaking down a really fascinating framework from our source material that quite literally flips the script on conflict. It's called the win-win ladder, mastering integrative negotiation. Now, if you've ever walked into a negotiation or even just a disagreement feeling like you had to, strap on a suit of armor, you are definitely not alone. But today we're completely shifting gears. We're going to explore how moving from adversarial competition to creative cooperation actually unlocks solutions you probably never knew existed. Okay, let's dive into this. Does negotiation always mean someone has to lose? It's a deeply ingrained assumption, right? We just naturally think of conflicts as these zero-sum battles. We picture a seesaw, like for me to go up, you absolutely have to go down. We assume resources are completely fixed and that any gain for one person is an automatic loss for the other. But as our source material reveals, that kind of thinking is actually a trap. It completely blinds us to much better outcomes. Section 1. Beyond the fixed pie. To negotiate better, we fundamentally have to change how we view limited resources. Because usually the problem isn't the resources themselves, it's our lens. We've got a really stark contrast here. On one side, there's the fixed pie or zero-sum mindset. Think of this as your classic adversarial tug-of-war, where you aggressively try to yank slices away from your opponent. That's exactly where traditional competition thrives. But on the flip side, we have expanding the pie. Instead of fighting over the existing slices, we stop and ask, hey, how can we bake a bigger pie together to create mutual value?
So the crucial point is understanding integrative negotiation. It's a strategy designed to move beyond zero-sum conflicts by creating mutual value for all parties. Let's break that academic term down a bit. Crucially, this is not about compromise, where both people just walk away feeling kind of grumpy and shortchanged. It's about integration. We're combining our efforts so perfectly that everyone's needs are actually met without having to damage the other party to get there.
Section 2. The art-space scenario. To anchor this abstract theory into reality, let's look at a scenario straight from the text. Picture two students who are forced to share this cramped, seemingly inadequate art space. If they go in with a zero-sum mindset, well, they're taping a line right down the middle of the desk like a bad roommate comedy. They both suffer in crimped quarters, they're constantly bumping elbows, it's just miserable. But instead, they collaborate. They find a creative way to organize their supplies. Maybe they pool shared materials or stagger their hours, completely transforming how that restrictive physical space functions. I love how the text puts it. It says, negotiation isn't just about sharing a fixed pie, where if you win, I lose. These art students completely rejected the idea that one of them had to sacrifice their space or comfort for the other to succeed. By communicating, they reshapes the environment entirely. So how exactly did they pull it off? The formula is empathy plus listening. By actively listening for underlying interests and using genuine empathy, those students transformed their entire relationship. They stopped being competitors fighting over square footage and became true partners in designing a functional studio. This empathetic partnership is absolutely the engine of integrative negotiation. Section 3. The win-win ladder. Now that we understand the mindset, let's look at the actual mechanics. The source material gives us a core framework, a literal, step-by-step climb toward those better outcomes. Step 1, separate people from the problem. Step 2, focus on interests. Step 3, invent new ideas. And Step 4, use fair rules. What's so powerful about this specific structure is that it guarantees a forward-moving, upward trajectory. Honestly, if you feel stuck in a conflict, it's almost always because you tried to skip a run. Let's move to Step 1 and see how this builds. Isolate interpersonal issues. You absolutely must separate the people from the problem. In the heat of a conflict, it is just so easy to let our personal friction, our frustrations, or biases cloud the actual issue, isn't it? This first rung requires you to detach those feelings. You aren't fighting your opponent. You and your partner are standing side by side fighting the problem together. Once you clear that emotional fog, you step up to rung 2. Prioritize underlying interests via empathetic partnership. This is where you discover what the other person actually needs, rather than just arguing over what they are demanding. You see, a demand is a position, but an interest is the why behind it. If you find out why they want that specific part of the art space, well, suddenly you have a whole lot more flexibility to solve the real problem. Which leads us nicely to the third rung. Innovative problem solving. This is the fun part where we actively expand the pie. Now that you know what everyone really needs, you brainstorm. You look for creative, outside-the-box ways to organize the hypothetical art supplies of your own situation. You aren't judging ideas yet. You're literally just generating as many innovative solutions as possible that hit those underlying interests we just figured out. Finally, we conclude the climb at rung 4, objective standards. To make sure your innovative solutions actually work, you have to evaluate them against an objective standard, something measurable and totally independent of either person's willpower. Whether that's market value, an established policy, or a physical measurement, objective standards ensure the final agreement feels completely fair and, more importantly, durable for everyone involved.
Section 4, creating mutual value. We've climbed the ladder, and now it's time to apply this incredible framework to daily life. And this brilliantly illustrates our main goals. Replace traditional combative competition with creative cooperation, focus intentionally on empathetic partnership, and above all, seek beneficial outcomes for all. This ladder isn't just a neat theory. It's a highly practical toolkit that guarantees everyone's needs are met if you just commit to the climb.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Who in your life can you turn from an adversary into a partner today? Think about a current conflict, maybe a stubborn negotiation, or a shared art space in your own life that just feels a bit too small right now. How can you use the win-win ladder, isolate those issues, focus on the real interests, and expand the pie today? The tools are right there waiting for you. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start climbing that ladder today.